so classroom organization. The first domain is behavior management. This is where the kids know the rules and the expectations of the classroom. They know what we do and why we do it, and they know what to do. Now, they may not always choose the right choice, but they know what the rule was, right? And you're consistent. You and the teacher are on the same page, and you're consistent with it. We always clean up our toys before we go choose another center. It's not that sometimes they get to leave their mess and go play somewhere else, and sometimes we make them pick up. It's that every single time you must pick up your toys before you go choose a new center. That's being consistent, right? Also, that behaviors are managed quickly. You're not spending a lot of time hashing out something and wasting 5 or 10 minutes, talking to a child about a problem when you could have been doing something else. You're addressing it and you're moving on. Okay? If the class observer sees no behavior problems, you're automatically going to be rated a high. But if there are behavior problems in your classroom while the person's in there rating you, she's going to be looking at, did you handle it quickly? Were you consistent? How did, was it a positive reinforcement? She's going to be looking at that. Okay, so for productivity, what do you think productivity is?
Like what they do in their classroom, like the actual lessons, and then showing doing the things in the classroom, and how productive they are.
How productive the lessons are. What else? Any other ideas? Your expectations. Okay. So it says activities are provided for students. Any disruption is handled efficiently without taking away time from learning, and the routines are established so everybody knows them, and expectations are also. Transitions are quick and efficient, and teachers are fully prepared. So on transitions, if you don't have planned transitions planned into your lesson plan, transitions can take way too long. We all know that. Transitions can be lost teaching time. That's why you have to have a planned transition. So if your transitions are taking too long, you're not going to be productive. You're going to score you low on productivity. If you get to the circle time to do a lesson and you don't have all your materials ready right there, and you have to go to the bookshelf and grab the book, or you have to go over here from the center and grab a toy to show the kids, your productivity is going to be low because you didn't have all your stuff ready. Your kids are sitting there waiting for you to get all your stuff together. That's lost teaching time. If you're going to do the Frog Street letter book and you don't have the song ready on the iPad and you don't have the book out and ready and you have to dig around for the book, that's lost teaching time. That's going to make your productivity low because your kids are having to sit there and wait for you to get all your stuff ready. Okay, does that make sense?
It's like my transition song, like the floor is lava. While I have the floor is lava going on and I'm setting up for Play-Doh, which is the next activity, that's a good transition time.
As long as it's quick and not taking too long. If you're having your kids come up and as a transition and write their full name out on the chart, and that each kid takes 3 to 4 minutes to write their full name, and these other kids on the rug are sitting here waiting for 10 minutes to come up and have their turn, that's not productive because these kids are having to wait way too long. A quick transition should be, I do it with one, they go to centers. I do it with the other, they go to centers. I do it with the other, they go to centers, right? It should not take 10 minutes to get all the kids moved from one spot to the next spot. Does that make sense? That's lost teaching time. Any disruptions are handled efficiently. So this means that you're not answering the door unless it's necessary. That's why we put the red buckets outside your door. So somebody didn't have to come in your room every time we're dropping off papers. That's taking you away from your teaching time. If the phone rings and it's not I mean, that's why we try not to have a lot of phone calls during instructional time. If you have a phone call, you're gonna take the call, get off, but if the observer's in there and the phone rings and you go over and during the read aloud and put the book down and go answer the phone, then that's gonna count, that's gonna make your productivity go down. Because you're leaving the kids to go take care of something else. Does that make sense? I mean, the assistant, the person that's not doing the main thing, they should go, but you should not stay gone away from the kids you should do it as quickly as possible. Okay?
So counting from the calendar, transition to
Counting the calendar individually for each child, that's way too long.
Yeah, it's way too long.
They should come up and point to one number and say that one number and then go to their center. It should be boom, boom, boom. It should be fast. Okay? If they're sitting there doing something and the other kids are going, oh my gosh, when is she gonna call my name? They've already had time to kick a friend, pinch a friend, pull some hair, and take their shoes off. And they're like, I'm done.
They'll go ahead and go to sleep.
They're going, right? And you can't blame
I
them.
ain't even talking to stop them.
Right.
But our floor at Lava is good, because we clean up our lunch centers, we get everybody together, then we transition all together and it's flawless. So you can come see that.
So, okay, so if we go down to instructional learning formats, let's read about this. This is a little bit different. So I want us to look at this. Teacher actively facilitates with excitement using organizers, summaries, or hands-on material, student engagement in lessons and activities. There's a variety of modalities and materials to engage students. They are consistently engaged. Teacher effectively focuses student attention towards learning objective and the purpose of the lesson. So this is, you're putting on a show. You better be putting on a show. At circle time, those kids all better be entranced in you. That's like you are up there doing some dancing, you're keeping their attention. And that doesn't just mean you're keeping the attention of the kids right here at the front. You've got to keep the attention of the kids on the back row that are usually going everywhere, right? How are you going to keep their attention? Through songs, through puppets, dancing. If you're reading The Three Little Pigs, bring in some real hay, bring in some real sticks, bring in some bricks and talk about them. You're making graphs where, which one do you like best? Rocks or sticks, hay and bricks. You're doing those graphic organizers where they're having to write their names in, or they're making a choice on what do you think is going to blow down the quickest? Which one do you think? You're doing stuff like that to keep them engaged. You're not just sitting there reading the book, just you and the book, and you're like this. You think they're going to listen to you? They're going to be like, woman, I'm out of here. I have a YouTube channel that keeps me way more entertained than this, right? You have to think about what do these kids do. They're watching all these things on TV that keeps their attention, that YouTube. We've got to be exciting. They're not just going to sit there and watch us read a book and be okay with it. Does that make sense? So this is keeping them engaged with exciting materials. That's why, when we talked about marketing your centers and having them be like real exciting and make the kids want to come play there, that's this. That's having awesome materials in your centers that makes the kids want to play there. They may not want to play in writing if all you have is some old worn out markers and some manila paper. I wouldn't want to play there either. Right? But if you have fluffy pens and smelly markers and notepads and envelopes where I can write letters to my friends, and I have all these stickers and stuff, then do I want to play there? Yes. So that's a variety of modalities and materials. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. So now the last area is instructional supports. This is the area I'm going to be upfront with y'all. It's hard. It's like dang hard to get to this level. You're doing really good if the observer comes in and she scores you a 3 or 4 or 5, that's doing pretty good. There's probably 2 or 3 teachers on this campus who will get this. It's hard. Because you have to have those feedback loops going all the time. Your kids have to be giving you all that language. And guess what? If your kids don't feel comfortable and safe and feel like you love them and feel like they can talk to you and that you care about their ideas, and if you don't have exciting stuff going on in your classroom, and if you have kids throwing fits all the time and being mean to each other and taking toys, and if you don't have your stuff ready and you've got your stuff all set out and you're losing all your teaching time, do you think you're going to be in this area? No. So you've got to be doing really good in this section and really good in this section to even think about being good in here. It builds on itself. So this has to be doing good for this to be good. This has to be good for this to be good. And this is where the real learning happens. This is where the academics happen right here. So, in the high area, it says teacher often uses discussions. Discussions is like 2 people. It's not the teacher sitting up at the front of the class talking for 45 minutes. It's like the kids are talking just as much or more than the grown-ups are. Does that happen in your classrooms?
Too much.
Activities to encourage questions. So asking why, how, explain that. What do you think will happen? Asking those questions of the kids. Getting them to think about stuff. Children are encouraged to generate their own ideas and products. Teacher consistently links new concepts to previous learning. So this is where you're saying, oh, guess what? We're talking about trains and airplanes. We're talking about transportation. Oh, y'all remember? You remember back at Christmas time when we wrote that Polar Express book and we even made a train in our classroom? Remember, where did we go? We went to the North Pole, yes. And what type of transportation? Did we use transportation? Oh, yeah, that's a train. Yeah, so you're connecting that to something you've already talked about. That's connecting previous knowledge. Okay, or their actual lives. You're talking about bugs. They start talking about the spider that they found on their back porch last night. That's connecting it to their own life. Right? Making those connections, that's huge. And when they tell you that, you're not going to shut them down and be like, oh yeah. Now, hush, we got to move on. You have a conversation about that spider on that back porch as long as they want to have that conversation about that spider. And guess what? It's best when it's not just one student and you having that conversation, but when it's a lot of kids. And then this kid says, oh yeah, I saw a spider and my daddy stepped on it and all his babies came out and they squished him. Then okay, we're going to talk about that for a minute. And then another friend's going to say, and I saw one spider and he was black and he had red on his back. So then we're going to talk about poisonous spiders and non-poisonous spiders. And then another friend's going to say, I don't like spiders because they scare me and whatever. So then you have 5 or 6 kids talking about spiders, and that's okay. That's what we want. The more kids that are talking about it, the better, right? Quality of feedback. Quality of feedback. This is where your kids have to be talking. They have to be talking. Like I said, more than you're talking, we have to hear the kids' voices. The teachers are the ones scaffolding. Do you know what scaffolding is? Scaffolding is where you're helping them along. Where they're saying, I want to eat food. And you said, oh, you want to eat food? What do you want to eat? What do you think we're going to eat at breakfast? That's scaffolding. You're giving them the word breakfast, because they just said food. and you're asking them, what do you wanna eat? I wanna eat bread. Oh, you wanna eat bread? Do you like toast for breakfast? Yeah, we're gonna eat toast. What do you like with your toast? You're scaffolding it. You're asking them questions for them to give you more information, okay? So scaffolding is just like helping them along, giving them a little bump to get them going. If they don't know a word, or if they're asking about something or they're unsure, you're giving them that little nudge or that little push to help them along. You're providing additional information to help them understand. You're encouraging their efforts, encouraging them. Great observation, I love that. I like that idea. So you're not just saying good job. If you're saying good job, good job, good job, that's not detailed enough. You need to be giving them praise on, I like the way you built that tower in that block center. I can tell you built it really tall. And you're asking them about it. I like the way you used just enough glue right here. You didn't put too much. I like the way you put the clothes on the baby doll and you even buttoned his shirt up the back. So you're telling them exactly what you like. I like the way you used your words to ask your friend to scoot over so you didn't step on his sneakers. That was helpful. You're telling them exactly what you like. You're not just saying, good job, great job, good work. Do you see the difference? Okay, and then the last one is language modeling. This is frequent conversations, those back and forth conversations where you say something, they say something. You say something, they say something. You keep that conversation going, okay? And you're not just saying, okay, yeah, Does somebody want to talk to you? Do you want to talk to somebody who says, okay, whatever, okay, whatever you want? Do you want to have a conversation with somebody who does that? No. You want to hear their ideas. You want to hear their thoughts, right? You want to hear a full sentence from them, and then you give them a full sentence back. So conversations with adults are no different than conversations that we have with kids. We should still have all those same words, okay? Open-ended questions where they can share their thoughts. Teachers often so this is where you repeat or you extend. So this is going to be like rephrasing. So that's where they say, I want food. Oh, you're ready for breakfast. Yes, we're going to breakfast right now. I wonder what we're going to have. So they started it. So I'm repeating it and I'm giving them a little bit more information with it. Okay, that's how we grow language. So they started out with, I want food. So now we're digging a little deeper. The self-talk is huge in this area. So self-talk, does anybody know what self-talk is? 2 more things and I'm going to be quiet, I promise. Self-talk.
You're talking of what you're doing, you're getting the iPhone. I'm going to turn the iPhone. I'm going to look for this song.
Yep,
Do that.
you're talking, your words are matching what's going on in your head. Let me get the song pulled up on the iPod. Here we go. Here it is. I found it. It's number 5. Okay, let's push play. Push play. Okay, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get my marker. I'm going to take the lid off, and I'm going to start writing. Today is da-da-da. Okay, let me go sit down in my chair. I'm going to sit down in my chair now. Now I'm going to find a book. Which book are we going to read? We're in math time. On our schedule says math. Okay, we need our math book. Let me find my math book. Okay, I'm gonna get ready for lunch. I need my first friend to come. You're saying all these things that go on in your head all day long, that has to come out of your mouth. That's how we build language. It's Miss Melanie. Miss Melanie is awesome at this. All day long. She says she has self-talk. That's self-talk. Everything that she does, even with this,
No, that was my homework.
Even when the kids are asleep, she said, she's still talking. Y'all, that's awesome. That's what we all need to be doing. Self-talk. It has to become a habit. Do that at home. Practice with your kids at home. Practice. No? Okay. I'm gonna go load the dishwasher. Okay, I'm gonna put the cups on top and the plates on the bottom. Okay, now I'm gonna go do the laundry. Okay, I'm gonna put the laundry from the washer to the dryer. Everything you do, when you say it out loud, that's self-talk, and that's how kids build language. They have to hear it over and over and over and over and over again in order to form those words. The more times they hear it, the easier it's going to come out. You should be talking all day long. And before long, guess what you're going to hear? Okay, I'm going to the library center. I'm going to choose a book. It's math time. Which book should I choose? They're going to be doing it because they've heard you say it 1,000 times, right? So that's how language is developed. The other thing is you're using advanced language with kids. So advanced language, not just the basic words. We want to hear big words. Instead of saying hungry, say, who has a big appetite? Who has a big appetite? That's a big word, right? Miss Christie says every morning, open your priorities. Open your priorities. Doesn't she? She says it. Get your priorities open. Let's see. Do you have a situation? We need to figure out a situation. Problem solving. I mean, just all these words that grown-ups say, we have to introduce them to kids too. Okay? So use big words. Don't think that just because they're little, we can't use big words. They want us using advanced language with kids. Okay, so this right here, this is your homework. I really want you to read this before the 12th and 13th, before those people are in your classrooms. Okay?
Are we gonna get that great visit too?
No. 12th and 13th is only for Head Start classrooms. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, just for Head Start classrooms.
We still need to do it.
Everybody needs to be doing this. This is best practice. That means that's the best thing for all kids at this age. Okay? That doesn't mean that you won't get a visit like this later on. Any questions? Okay, thank you.